Hey guys, it's Coach Matt from Primal Athlete Training Center, www.primalatc.com. Got a great question today on the Facebook page. If you haven't already become a fan or liked our Facebook page, please find us. It's Primal Athlete Training Center. You can actually go to the primalatc.com website and click like right there and get it all set up for you. But we got a question today from a guy. He's actually a coach, which just goes to show you that it's not just the athletes that are thinking about track and field during the off season. Coaches are thinking about it too, and they're hungry and they're getting ready to start their season up just as eagerly as the athletes are. So today's question comes from Michael Morris, and Michael says, "Hey Matt, I'm a second year's throw coach, but I've been throwing since 7th grade. I have an athlete who started from scratch last year in the Javelin. Very first meet through 156 feet, which is awesome. By the time we got to conference, he finished at 183 feet, which again is phenomenal for a first-year thrower. My question is, he was using a 50-meter jav, and I'm thinking it might be time for a new one. I don't know if we should invest in a 60-meter or a 70-meter. From where he finished, a 60-meter would only be a 13-foot increase. I don't want him to reach that by the second or third meet and say, oh well, I guess we're ready for the next step. I guess we're ready to buy a whole other javelin." No coach wants that to happen. He says, we don't have a large budget. However, I'm not as ignorant to think he'll just pick it up at 183 feet again, right where we left off. This will be his second year throwing. He's not 100% consistent. He throws pretty well through the point, but probably 25% of the time doesn't get a good wrist snap or follow through to get the javelin to stick in the ground. Do you have an opinion or any advice on what type of javelin we should be looking for? Yes, I do. Michael, you have a very common problem that a lot of javelin throwers and a lot of javelin coaches have. And believe it or not, it's the same problem that a lot of golfers have. I started playing golf a few years ago, actually, God, probably like 8-9 years ago now, right when I got out of college. And I had that problem too. I got a beginner set of golf clubs that I learned how to play golf on. And then when I started to get pretty good at playing golf and I kind of got down to it and understood how to golf better, you know, it was time for me to buy, I had outgrown that set of clubs. It was time for me to buy a new set of clubs. I didn't know what to do. You know, do I buy an intermediate set? Do I buy a more advanced set and try to grow into it? If I bought and spent a lot of money on this, you know, intermediate set, this brand name intermediate set, would I outgrow that in just a year or two and have to buy a whole other set? What's the next step? And really, when it comes to selecting either a javelin having to do with the meter rating or a discus having to do with rim weight, you never want to overstep your bounds. You know, in reality, if he bought a 70-meter javelin, or if you got a 70-meter javelin for this thrower, is it going to really hurt him as much? No, not really. But the problem is, those 25% of times, because he is just starting out, he's only done it for a year, the 25% of times where he is a little iffy and he's not getting good wrist snap, he's not getting it to stick in the ground properly, he's not following through correctly, it's really going to hurt him. And you would rather have him do really well with a 60 or a 65-meter javelin than have him do well only a few times with a 70-meter javelin. I hope that makes sense. But basically, you got to think of it like that golf club. If I get up there with a beginner level driver and I'm hitting a 275-yard drive, hey, I'm big, I'm tall, 275-yard drive, and I think to myself, hey, if I had Tiger Woods' exact driver, that probably would have gone 300. Well, yeah, but the other 99 times out of 100 where I shank it or when I slice it and throw it off into the woods, that's going to make that even worse. So you don't want to overstep too much and jump up to a 70 or a 75-meter javelin, not just yet. The 60 or the 65-meter javelin, that's going to get him throughout the rest of next year. And then once his third year of throwing, you know, if he's a sophomore this year, for his junior year or his senior year, that's when you step in and buy that 70-meter. You never want to take that big jump because it might hurt them more than it's going to help them. Hopefully this helps you out, Michael. Guys, this just goes to show you, the only people thinking about throwing aren't just the athletes. Your coaches and other coaches out there are thinking how they can improve their athletes and how to get their athletes to be at their peak for when the season starts. Javelin season, guys, we've still got another 5-6 months before that happens, okay? So, for any javelin throwers out there, for any discus throwers out there, for any pole vaulters out there, for anybody who's out there who does not do a winter sport or who really focuses on spring track, you guys have to check out, especially the coaches, you have to check out the Ultimate Off-Season Training Program for Throwers. Brand new ebook that just came out. I know I've been plugging it a lot, but we've been getting some really great responses from people who have already bought it, who are already experiencing great results in just the 2 or 3 weeks that it's been out. So you guys have to make sure you check it out. You can find it right on primalatc.com. I'll leave that link for you right below in the info here on the video. Hope to hear from you guys soon, and if you have questions, make sure you keep asking them. I'm going to keep on giving my answers to you. Thanks.